What's going on, everybody? It's Eli here from TreeFall Studios. I think that today we've got the stream looking a little bit better. Starting off, I don't have to type anything in. I've shared it off on all of our social media. Got a light now with my camera, so looks like I should be a little bit more visible. Still, nothing fancy or anything like that. Still got my retainers in, so it's kind of hard to talk for as long as I need to. But hey, we're going to give it another shot and continue where we left off from Friday. Let me just double check. Looks like posted. And I haven't even set up all my accounts on here. On my computer, I don't have my publishing account and all that linked. I should be sharing it on Patreon as well. But today, let's see where we are. 1 second. See if I can get to see this live. And yep. Okay, cool. I think, and let's do small stream music like we did last time. I added some Gym Collector soundtrack themes to the mix. So, all right. Let me know if the audio volume is too loud on either my voice or the background track. Make sure you guys can hear everything. I'm kind of monitoring it in my headphones, but I can't fully tell what it's sounding like. I think the volume needs to go down just a tad. There we go. Yeah. All right. So I think that sounds all right. Hey, what's up, X10OZ? Haven't seen you in a while. Today we're going to be working on a new game that we worked on Friday. And as you can see over here on the left, the game looks destroyed. I'm actually going to open up the older version from Friday. That would be the regular Pic-A-Block, and show you where we left off, and then show the new changes, because I worked a tad over the weekend and tried to get it ready. So this is what we were working on Friday, getting this little Walmart desk modeled and created. And I'll pull it up here in Blender as well, and I have already started texturing it, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. I have it in the game in this version. Let's see, right here I just put a little textured version in, and as you can see, when we go ahead and start the game, let me grab my controller, it's on the floor. We did this little animation on Friday where we bounce in and it lands onto the table, and then you can see the puzzle. But we decided that we were going to make in the background here a room. Let me do this audio volume real fast. That track is kind of loud. Yeah, one's probably good. Yeah. Oh man. My battery level is critical in my mouse. Of course that would happen as I start streaming. 1 second. I need to grab a charger cable for that. Should be able to use my Nintendo Switch cable right behind me. That's the old one. I actually got to run grab that from, there might be one in the other room. All right. Don't need the mouse dying here in the middle of this before we even get started. Sorry for all the bumps and clicks, but now this guy should be charging. Perfect. All right. Okay, so where we left off is we had this puzzle and everything is correctly working. If you click, you can see as we change over here, we can solve the puzzle this way. And whoops. Once you get it to match, we do the new level complete animation and it's going to float over the table. But now what we're doing is we're trying to make this super realistic looking. And on top of that, we're going to be building an entire room behind this. And when the level is animating, we are going to run back with the camera and zoom out so you'll be able to see the entire room a little bit better, because you can see from right here, you can kind of see the table. We're gonna make some models today, some magazines, some like bowls, picture albums, stuff that you would see on a family coffee table, and then we're gonna model the room and all of that. But I decided, hey, to start, we're gonna finish up making these details. If you can see here on this picture, this game is going to be one room. It's not going to be a ton of models over and over in an open world game. So we're actually going to go high poly on some of these models, and we're going to model these details like these bolts and these extra bars here. Because if you see here on the Blender model, I just started putting one in, but as of yesterday, when we had it in the game, we only have these black legs here and then just the bottom and the top. So it's just, a little primitive. So we're going to build these crossbars that go across and the little bolts that go into the side. And then we're going to start putting some stuff onto the table. But the cool thing is I decided that, hey, why don't we try to go ahead and get these graphics looking even better? So I copied over the project, made a duplicate project, and upgraded it to Unity HDRP, which is the high definition render pipeline. I think I got everything fixed here in the configuration wizard, and then I left it here before starting the stream because I figured, hey, this is really kind of confusing. I'm not really good at it. You can click all the buttons and you can do exactly what you're supposed to do, but at the same time, it never works half the time, and these materials are still pink. And if game developers are deciding to watch the stream or checking in, and people want to learn about game development, these trial and error days are pretty important. So I figured, hey, why don't we figure out? I actually like it floating better, I think. That kind of ruined this though. And this, scoot this. Yeah, like, wow, that's really annoying. I'm gonna float it to the other screen. We don't need that much information. Can I not scoot that over? Huh. I don't know what the deal with that is. Odd. But we're gonna try. This probably looks really terrible, these weird windows. We're gonna try to upgrade our project materials to high definition materials, and we're gonna see if this actually works live. And if not, we're gonna try to go fix all these by hand. Because I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, the wizard works for me, it doesn't work for me, everything is pink. So, we're gonna give it a shot. Alright, still looking decent with the lighting. It's taking a second to load here. This would have been a terrible idea to do live normally for if you had a giant project, because it would have been like rebuilding every single material over and over and over. But this game is relatively small and only has a couple materials, so I figured, hey, we can try to give it a shot. So it looks like these worked. And then this one did not. This was probably using some kind of legacy material. I could try to. Let's see. So you can only move the inspector when we're actually in the inspector, not the package manager. This material. Yeah, so that material just straight up died. Yeah, that kind of stinks. Because that must have been a legacy material that just didn't come over right. We'll have to rebuild those ones, but for now, those being pink aren't that bad. So we gotta try to figure out, like, now how do I get these to work? So, because it can't be this. And we have a light in here. Yeah, I actually don't really know how this, how HDRP functions well. So, I mean, it looks so bright, it looks crazy. I just don't know why this isn't rendering right. I fixed this before because I built the letter demo for the HD version in HDRP because we're going to use that to fully build that game. But yeah, I think it might be a waste of time to try to get the project completely set up right here today in this. I think we're going to continue in this for now, and then in a couple days, once I have this all researched, we'll move everything into here. But we're going to start with modeling today. So, like I mentioned earlier, we started this, and you know, on Friday when I was modeling this, I was like, all right, we're going to be very simple with it. Let's go back to the modeling window. It's probably be easier to see what that looks like. Yeah. I would say at first I was having a whole lot of trouble with the new Blender. If you're familiar with Blender, after Blender 2.79, when they upgraded to Blender 2.8, they changed like the entire thing, and not only that, it changed like all these bubbles, what everything looks like, where everything is, changed a lot of the functionality. This is actually 2.9 something, and I think they're on 3 now. I have 3 on like my other computer, but I just haven't been I've barely been learning them to keep up, so I haven't downloaded the new one yet. So yeah, I'm just going simple, but I started using these tabs. Like I made this first one so I can, this is the shader editor. You can't see it on this one. I made it so I could see the wood to make sure the wood looked right. This is the UV editor, and I was messing with it in here. And then it has pre-built tabs, and this is the editing tab, so I can go to this. But now you can't see it again. You have to open up that. Just so you can see how I was laying out the faces on here. But let's go back to the modeling one. And so what I did was, let's go here. You can see I shrunk it in a little bit, so it's you actually, when we're in the game view, there'll be this little lip here, so you'll be able to see the shadow. I believe, keep clicking on the music one instead of the picture one. Can I move that? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, because that's kind of how this looks like in real life. Looks like there's the tiniest lip possible right there. So that's what we're going to go with. Also, it looks like we need to make some crossbars on the bottom. And if you can see here, this is not fully to the edge. It's like, yeah, like kind of, well, it kind of looks like it's on the edge on this side, but not really on this side. So I think we'll just like scoot it in just a tad. I'm not going to make all of these things. I don't really like all of this. I'm going to do some books, some magazines. Maybe a candle would be good. Skip the bottle of wine. Maybe put like a little TreeFall toy or something like that. But yeah, so I went ahead and scaled this guy. And then kind of what you would do is, let me look at these UVs and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's actually fine. We're not using the wood. The wood texture actually doesn't need to be there for that, but we're using a metal one for it. But I can still set that scale correctly so it works right, and then Shift D, right? Yeah. Gotta be careful. It's Control D, Shift D. Those are the hotkeys that change between Unity and Blender. We need to go back to wireframe so we can see what's going on. I wonder if I could just literally, this would be what the x-axis. I could actually probably Z times 180. Yeah, that's correct. Yep. Yeah, so if we want to view that, then again, and if we want to see this a little bit better, I think we go here and then texture. There we go. Saved. Make sure it's not hanging off. Okay, those are those pieces built. Now we need to build one that goes across here. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. This is not exactly, if you're watching for actual game development tips, this is I'm not exactly being efficient here or modeling everything how you would want to. Technically, you could, what you could do is get rid of these inside faces and stuff like that. Really, it's not really that big of a deal for this project, so I'm just kind of using these primitives. And plus, we're talking about 4-sided cubes versus, a bunch of models. Whoa, lost my view. Top. And we need wireframe again. We want to back that up here, and we want to take him down to the center. Whoa. Can we get that in the center? Oh, nice. Got the Night Detective song hitting now, aren't we? And we want to go to this view. We want to pop in here. We are going to do selection of vertices. Slide it in here. Drop these guys in here. Now if we go back to, whoopsies, out of here. So now we can see we've got it on the sides too as well, and each one is slightly lipped in, and we need it on this side. Easy peasy. Duplicate. Let's bring it over here. Rotate on the Z by 180. Come on in. Go to wireframe. Zoom in so we can see this perfectly. I'm also I'm snapping these all perfectly on the grid. I'm holding Control. That's how you do that. In case you're interested in, for shortcuts, I feel like I should probably do a better job explaining of what I'm doing, even for the simple tasks, because you never know. People might be interested in learning about some of those things. All right, so that table's looking pretty decent because I'm not viewing the texture in here, but when we are in the game engine, we kind of have like a little, just a reflective black metal on it. Also, this texture is looking pretty good. I mean, you can see there's some reflection here, and kind of hard to tell, but when you look at it from the distance, you can see the bump map makes it look a little bit 3D. Once we get over into HDRP and we bake the lighting and get all this going here, because I mean, I put in here, it has some ambient inclusion and stuff like that, so you can see the difference. Like if I, let's say none, you can see like there was just a tad bit of change there. Watch closely again. It's like we light up the shadows, get it a little bit more 3D and whatnot. So it's looking pretty good. It has a bump map in there. I mean, I guess we could turn it up, like you could break the computer and make it look like crazy 3D or whatever. Maybe a level 2 is probably better than 1. You don't want to do that too much because it kind of has like these flashing issues. That's a problem with the rendering settings. Like I remember having a whole lot of trouble when I was first trying to get I think the perplexing orb over to like maybe PlayStation, or it could have been on Wii U. I don't remember which one it was. If you play with these bump map settings too high in Unity, you'll cause yourself some serious rendering issues. But let's look at this again. So we don't have crossbars across this way. We only have crossbars across this way. So let's make those, and then let's try to develop some tiny little bolts. That would look pretty cool on here. So this, I'm gonna go simple again. Let's go side, wireframe, pull our little guy down here. Now this, we're gonna reshape him a little bit. We're gonna go back into this, pull up the whole sides. And this is not totally how it looks. We're gonna create our own version here. A little bit of breathing room on either side. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna pull this down and make it shorter, kind of like that. And then what we want to do is Control A. We're going to set the scale. Honestly, the way that the material looks, the way that this was already unwrapped, we don't really need to do it again, but I can just smart unwrap it again. It'll look fine because it's just basically procedural, and you can barely even tell there's texture in it. It's just like kind of shiny metal or whatever. We want to pull him in here. Is that right? I think that's right. And let's go back to shaded mode, deselect all of it. Yeah, so that's what that would look like. Let's tell, are these a little too skinny? Does that look like it could hold that up? Should we go all the way across? Or should we go a little bit thicker? Actually, I can't tell if there's carpet between that, but you know what? This might look a little bit better if, one, I'm thinking, back to wireframe, I'm thinking this needs to be like a tad bit taller to scale this correctly. Yeah. And I was thinking, hey, what if we pull you up a tad? Let's see what that looks like. Where it's like almost on the floor, but there's a little bit of room, like it's holding it together, it's the base, but there's like a little lip. Does that, or which one looks better? This one on the side here, or where we got a little bit of air, or the one where it's like kind of laying on the ground? I still want to take this guy up at least. Wireframe. I took him up 2 notches, I think. Shaded, deselect, save. I can't decide. I mean, it kind of looks cool like it's on the ground, but it also looks like a little cool if it's floating a tad. I'm not sure which one is most realistic. I think the floating one is a little bit more realistic. I think that's what it kind of looks like. You can't really tell because this is basically a render as it is, even though it's a shopping catalog. But this can't be real. I mean, look at that floor. This is obviously rendered. Yeah, I think we're going to go with up. What was the notches on that? How many mini grids? We went up 2 mini grids. Alright, let's do the same thing on this side. Boom, boom. Go back to this view. Alright. Yeah, that's looking pretty high quality right there. Especially when we bring it over here and put it in the game engine. Alright, so I guess like this, I'm not going to be too great at this, but you know, maybe we should try these. Should I start as a circle or what? What does these look like? It's so hard to tell. I'm sure there's like a million tutorials on how to make little bolts. And most of the time, you know, you can make these little bolts with normal maps, the way you bake them in, but we're just actually going like high poly here. So let's go to our cylinder settings. I think we can get away with like, you know, saving a little bit of space, dropping to like 16 or something. I think we want, yeah, it'll be fine. So we're gonna pull this little bad boy out here, and well, maybe we should just start by getting it somewhat smaller. We're gonna shrink it down by like, you know, maybe 10 times. pull this little guy up. And let's see. Keep clicking on the wrong one. We're just gonna round it off and then we div it in. So, you know, there's like a million ways better to do this. Once again. But sometimes I'm kind of like to do stuff by hand instead of like, you know, there's like modifiers that I could have used for this. There's ways that I could have mathematically done this probably like perfectly. But every once in a while, you know, something like that. Looks like a little bolt, and then we're gonna shrink him on the inside, pull him down, and maybe, you know, you can't even tell those details, but maybe what we'll do is yeah, I don't know if that's really, this is a good idea or not. Scale. I already extruded that, right? Yeah. There we go. Oh. There's like a button. There's like, now see, this is my Blender 2.79 showing. I don't know where all the hotkeys and where everything is moved to. There was like a smooth button. Yeah, something like that. Oopsies. Is it period? Whoa. No, that's not the same. Is it O? I think it might be O. Yeah, it just moves the whole thing. That's not what we want. Not O. Huh. Yeah, I don't really remember that hotkey actually. I'm gonna pull that back and just say forget about it. Forget about it. Maybe I'll like do something like this. Make a little bit more. This, we really don't need that. And then we can do rotate on the Y by, I guess we'll just do 90 degrees. Rotate on the Y by -90. We'll do this side first. I need to scale this whole thing down by like, yeah, something like that. I actually need to scale this down by like, whoa, scale by another 0.5. How many do they have on ours? 2. Maybe go back to wireframe, right in the very center. Let's go to side view again. Pull it down about here. Duplicate. About like that. See what that UV looks like. That'll be fine for the metal. Yeah, and when you can see this, seriously, this is such bad practice. There's zero reason for this. I mean, that's like a ton of polygons just to have that there. But you'll noticeably be able to see that in that camera view, and for our game purposes, it's not really going to hinder performance. So we do not really mind. Is that the center? Wow. You know, from far away, just from a 3D model perspective, I know that's a little inefficient, but it looks super cool. And really, that's what matters. Because the performance is not going to be affected whatsoever. Trust me. Not in this game. Everything else is so low poly that these few extra polygons are not going to matter. Rotate on Z by 180. We should be in the correct spot. Yeah. All the actual polygons are really low, and my coding is pretty slim to efficient in this game so far. So everything should run. I mean, especially on the new systems, there's I'm complaining about like 40 extra polygons, but you know, PlayStation 5 and stuff, you know, that's not exactly gonna be a problem. Alright, well, let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to the next model, but we can go ahead and export this as an FBX, pick models, test table, let's call it full, save this. We'll go to this version just so we can see it. We're going to import it. Oh, well, I will move this over here so we don't scroll through all my games. Pic-A-Block models. Test table full. Alright, so I think I put this on 5 scaling. We don't need any of these settings checked. We can apply this. This table is, let's go copy this instead of deleting it for now. Let's just put this in here. Do we even need that? Yeah, we did. Okay. So now with the table in here, wow. This is looking cool. I might try to like, doesn't make sense to have this like rusted or anything, but it's like I have so much trouble with metals like actually seeing them. I think when we bake this it'll look a little bit better, but maybe we'll put some like scratches in this or something, or like overlay a little bit of dirt on the family table maybe. Yeah, so that's looking pretty cool. Let's look at what that looks like in the game. Still loving the way that these blocks animate in. Oh, I realized, I don't know if I can move myself in real time. I realized I was sitting here talking about it on the stream on Friday, about how cool these little icons were, and you can't even see them because my camera with my little video feed is covering the actual icons. I'm like right on top of where they're animating, but you can see them here actually. This is why I was like, oh well, it's not too bad because you can see them in the view when I was working on them. These just bounce as you click on different ones. They animate and they show you which type of cursor you're using, so you can actively always know what you're using whenever you're about to use stuff. So, alright, so that looks good. Now we can do a couple of different things. We can do the camera stuff, we can maybe build the room scene, or we can start building a couple more items to go on this table. think we might just go ahead and do that. We'll slowly build out from the inside to the outside. And also, like, I want to take like this. 1 second. Let's see if we can find a wood texture that I already have, just to give this a test run. Planks worn. Let me look through some of my wood planks textures and see what we've got. That doesn't look that good for what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking also, like, we need to give these blocks a little bit of realism here. That would be pretty cool. What about this? Yeah, that's a hard no. Flooring natural, flooring fine, beam dark. I think this is what I used in Perplexing Orb 2. Yeah. Yeah, that's like too cut up. I wonder if we could just draw it ourselves. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just use one of these plank ends for the time being. Maybe this. I could use these to randomize the wood. Let me look what those look like. So what I'm thinking is, let me just take this wood beam 1. Yeah, it's really not going to work right with this one, because this one's like a long texture and stuff. Is it having that much trouble importing? Oh, no, it's done. Okay. So let's go to our materials. Let's go to yellow, since yellow is on here. I was like thinking, what if we just... Oh. Set that to a normal map. Yeah, I don't know if you can even see that well enough. That's almost what we're looking for. I don't want it to tile like this. I'm going to do a bunch of different ones. So I was thinking... Where's that material again? Should we change this yellow so it can be seen better? Better yellow block. Let's keep it like this for now. Yeah, so let's look at that. I don't know if that's the lighting or what. Is there? Let me go to the directional light here. Maybe it's because we don't have any shadows. I guess we'll just run some hard shadows in real time for the stream. Let's go like medium resolution or high. I think my computer can handle it all right now. Strength 1. Yeah. Let's see. See what that looks like. Maybe this is one of those situations where we take this and we don't mind turning it up some more. It needs to be exaggerated. What about that? Yeah, so if we turn that up, they fly in. Yeah, I mean, you can see how bad that tile is, but you get the idea. When everything else is on the table, the room is built, there's a couch behind it, there's light coming in from the window, you'll be able to tell that these aren't just random blocks. These are actually wooden, like, toy blocks that, you know, you would play, that your kids would play with or whatever. And it's like a toy, and then you're building like toy levels, and you can see the texture and the color and the texture. It's like you're picking the blocks to put together, and you know, they're kind of like those silicone, or I don't know what you would call that, wood stained, where they're like shiny, they're like wooden, but they're kind of like almost like they feel like they're plastic toys. So that way we give this a little bit of reflection, so we can reflect the level and stuff. I think that looks pretty good. We'll just stick with that for now and move on to something to go onto the table. So shiny, they're like wooden, but they're, let me turn that down. Yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Let's see. Trying to go to my stream settings. I muted myself. Yeah, so what items or objects should we do first? This has a candle, some books. I wonder what else would go on a coffee table. Let's pull over coffee table images. Let's do some research. See what Wayfair puts on their coffee tables. A fruit basket. That'd be kind of fun. Some vases. A computer. Some flowers. Now that gets me thinking, flowers would be kind of cool. Or like a little succulent or something. But at the same time, I don't know how well that fits the vibe. It might need to go behind us. Yo. I wonder if I could do that. This would be kind of cool. Alright, here, let's take a look at this. Yeah, alright, so here is this, you can tell this is rendered, this little Wayfair table. It's even more simplistic than what I made. It does have crossbars on the bottom, which is kind of cool, I guess. Probably should have made those. But anyways, let's go back. I was looking for items to put on the coffee table. What normal people would be putting on here, how they advertise these. But then I saw this lamp, and I think this lamp is kind of cool. So like maybe we'll go ahead and work on that. This doesn't actually really make too much realistic sense here now that I'm looking at it. It would need something. But I guess this one doesn't have that. It's just screwed in to here. That's because I just messed this up. Let's fix this first. get a tad more realism going here, because that's what matters in this video game. Wrong one. That didn't really stretch out the texture too much. Should be the same now. But we probably want to go to UV editing and just take this guy. Whoa. Only on the X, sir. Just move him somewhere where it's not the exact same as the top. Yeah. That looks good. And we want to re-export that as an FBX. Export on top of it. And then this way, this is really great. You're gonna love this for Unity. You can delete this guy, and if you don't touch him in the scene, and you put him right back, and we change the settings right back, he will go exactly where we want him to go. So that looks, yeah, that makes a little bit more realistic sense there, because that's where you would screw in to the wood, I guess. Yeah. Can you even see when I didn't even check this, when you fly in for the table animation, can you even see those things we modeled? You cannot. So I can fix that a couple of different ways. I can either put them on this side, even though that's not how they would actually be. Because you got to realize your table would be a little ugly if your screws were sticking out in the center when everyone could see it. That's why they were on the side in that other table. But then we can't see it when we're animating in. Or we can just change the animation in to fly in from the side. Probably going to do the unrealistic route. Could probably even just change these in Unity just to give it a test. And let's see, that's not even, is that 90? No, it needs to be 180. Yeah. Let's see if this looks, if this is actually visible. Did I get it on there? Yeah. Alright, what do you guys think about this? That was literally so fast, I can't even tell what happened. Well, now we can edit that a little bit. What we can do is, not the asset store, we can go slow it down by 10%. See what that looks like. Just a 10% drop makes that feel way too slow. I think we'll put them out here on the outside. I'm going to refix that in Blender so it's not like just edited in Unity. We'll put them on the outside, but you're not even going to really notice it when the camera flies in like this. You will notice it on the way out. Because I think that's what we'll do, is we'll do the camera pan slowly out as the level spins slowly, and then you get to take in all of the details outside of your completed level. So let's just go to File, New. Oh, excuse me. We'll save that. Don't need the light. Don't need the camera. Don't need the cube. Shift A. Cylinder settings, 16 should be plenty. When we smooth this up, you won't even be able to tell. That'll save a little bit on performance. And maybe for this one, I'll use some modifiers and do some bevels and do some cool stuff. So we're gonna go for this little guy. I'm gonna look at it over to the left. Just going to eyeball it. I'm not going to put it in the back of Blender So you can kind of see, I can't even see what kind of base that is. We're just going to go for like a skinny lamp, a little kind of design here, then skinny back in here. Probably not even going to model the light bulb. No reason to. Camera probably won't see it, and we'll model it if we have to. We'll put a light source inside the lamp, maybe, like have the lights on. That would be pretty cool. Fireplace on the side, also pretty cool. That's kind of unique. And then we'll do the lampshade, and maybe if we're lucky we'll get it all textured. So we'll go to front view. Let's pull him up, start on the ground always, and then grab our handles here. Let's start with a little teeny base. And not that. If we do this, let's do this by math numbers. Instant by 0.9. Probably something like that. Yeah, okay. This makes